Okay, so up out of bed today, which is good, and I've got to say, had a good few contacts on 10 meters this morning into the US, and got on Ron's net, said g'day, but just thought I'd show you latest little project which I'm putting 0.5 of a microvolt into, and it absolutely is noise free. Isn't that crazy? These receivers on these things, I was talking to a good mate of mine the other day about 9700 versus 970H, and we both agree that this is the radio. If you're serious about VHF, UHF, this is definitely the radio that you want to have. And they were the big box radio, no question about it. You were given 2 meters, 70 centimeters, and of course 1.2 gigs, which is sort of nice because for those of you that got the ability to do a bit of 1.2, lovely. Obviously you can change and put that as the main band. I've just taken it off receiver there, back down to 440, so you've also got 440 megs, etc, through to so from memory, let me just go to megahertz. Yeah, so 430 through to 450 megs. 450, yeah, hang on, dot 449 point dot, yep. And pretty sure, sorry, change that over. Pretty sure this had a bit more wider coverage receiver on it, yeah, 170 down to 136, 174. And run dummy load, that won't transmit there. No, it won't transmit. So your transmit range obviously is 144, transmitting through to 148. It might not transmit right on 148, it does just on 148. Excuse me. So so these radios were perfect satellite radios, especially set up in this configuration here, and you could just put them into sat with your control over here and start setting up your various satellite sideband modes, etc. And like so there, I haven't set this up at the moment, so some of the frequencies are not going to quite make sense for satellite usage. Now this is a 970H, which means it's the sort of more prestigious, because it could do a few more watts, that's for sure. And let's just take that tone off for a moment, and I'm on the IFR 500 today. Squelch that signal, and let's just have a look on the 150 watt scale over here. About 45 watts right on the key there, which is quite good. Now obviously these are all modes, so you can go to sideband and have a look at its PEP power. 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 1 2. Hollow, 1 1 1 1 1. Yeah. So they really are a beautiful radio in the fact that you've got such a nice PA stage. Look, some people used to complain that, you know, in some respects the A might have suited them better. I disagree. Look, it's so easy to turn the power down on these that you know, if you take for instance on sideband, sorry, on FM, take it off sideband, and I dial my power back, and straight away, you know, sort of, I'll just hit lock on there so I can just hold that there. We can take that power down to, oh, let's have a look there. Probably got 5 watts there, and obviously 10 watts. You can and you can set it very, very clearly to say 10 watts into a 100 watt amp, etc., and then full power back up to 45 watts there. So it is just a simple, it's not programmable. You can just basically sit there and you can set on your meter there as well, just exactly where you're at. So it's a fairly nice situation where if you're running a larger amplifier on the end of it, very easy to set the power for it. Some amps these days are coming out so that you can set them, you know, distinctly for 45 watts in to get max out. So, you know, depending on the amp that you're running, Just having a look at that glare is a bit coming off one of our lights in here. So the next band that I'll have to change an antenna cord over for on the monitor, but we'll have a look at 440. And the other thing too is there's very little testing we can do on 1.2 gigs because these things stop at 999.999, which there are some tricks to that we can do, but I've successfully had this running up on 1.2 gigs before, so I know sort of what it does there, but I certainly can show you the functions of it. But any power readings I give it are going to be inaccurate. So let's see if we can pop an antenna on the back. Okay, when I said antenna, I meant the monitor, sorry, the service monitor on the back. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to change over as if we've just miraculously changed over into 440 megs. Let's take it to 439 or so, and let's just see what she does there. This has actually got a brand new, from the factory, would you believe it, UHF module in it. Let me just set up this frequency. Okay, so once again we're putting in 0.5 of a microvolt off our IFR, and we've got a squelch at the moment, and that's actually breaking that squelch, so let's just bring that back, and we might just give it a tad more just to break that. Where am I going there? Oh. Sorry, won't be a sec. I was driving myself crazy then. Of course, don't get confused like I just did. I'm turning the AF on the sub. Of course, I've gone MS to change the band, meaning that what I was adjusting on UHF here is now here. Oh, jeez, I'm going well. All right. Okay, so let's we're 100% right. Okay, so there's what we were trying to show you before. Not quite 0.5 a microvolt. Let's have a look. Let's go back. There's 0.5 a microvolt. 0.2, it's still got it. Let's go. It's lost it there, of course. 0.1's lost it. 0.2's just coming back in nicely. Beautiful. Sorry, I just realised I knocked my internal then. Sorry, I thought I knocked something. Let's see if we want to bring it up. Let's just say 50 microvolts. And yeah, plenty of signal in there. Let's have a look at the power side of it. Squelch that a little bit there. Now the power side of it, these were always a little bit less obviously than the VHF, 20 watts I was thinking from memory. 25 was it? Yeah, about 25 watts UHF there. And if you go to sideband, let's have a look here. Hello 1 2. Thinking about 30 watts, which a lot of these, I must admit, and sorry, I was going to comment before, this has actually got a new UHF module in it, this particular radio. They used to have a few issues with the UHF PLLs, and they can be a bit annoying when they go wrong. Look, they don't often go wrong, they're pretty good, but I've come across a couple in my lifetime, and I actually ordered this module out of the UK as new old stock. And that's me being lazy. I'd rather pay $400 for a new module than have to sit there and repair it for days on end. And they can be tricky. They can be a bit of a pain. Now, I was saying before about the 1.2 gig side of these. Let's just have a quick look. Okay, so over to 1.2 gigs. Not going to be completely accurate, unfortunately, on power. 10 watts out. That meter reading is going to be miles out. Unfortunately, we're only showing about 3 watts out there, where we've actually had it on a bird meter, and yes, that's actually 10 watts. Now, obviously, I can't chuck a signal into it very easily. It's but I was able to do a test with a mate of mine actually, and you know, 1.2 gigs is not a band that really interests me a lot, living in a very hilly rural area. But when you hear of stories like Steve VK3OT, who holds the record from southern Victoria through to Perth on 1.2 gigs, suddenly, you know, that becomes an interesting band to a lot of people, no question. You know, it's really amazing just some of the records that have been set. And don't get confused, there's a lot of people out there that love 1.2 gigs, and whilst my, you know, geographical location doesn't sort of make it easy for me, it's certainly a band that a lot of people are very interested in. So basically, I'm trying to think what else, apart from the obvious, is just how well these things work in a probably more for me. I'd be more in, you know, satellite tracking, etc. This would be the radio for me for doing any sort of sat stuff. For other people, it's going to be for point-to-point, you know, comps, trying to, you know, set records, etc. Something that hears into the noise as well as the 970H is definitely recommended. And look, it's just a different. Look, I own a 9700. You know, I wish I had time to give you a comparison side by side of why the 970H is, in my mind, a better proposition than the 9700. But you know, that's always going to be subjective to a lot of different technical opinions, and sometimes you just like something because you like something, and I've got to say the 970H, you know, is really one of those ones where I think, yeah, they're a beautiful radio. All right, well, look, this has been good just to at least give you a bit of an idea what a 970H does. I've just been running it on a little SM30 desk mic just for a bit of fun here in the shack. We're in the workshop at the moment, really, but it's been nice. I just want to actually do a couple more little small tests on it myself, and I've got a couple of modules that I actually want to test, which are separate modules, which will probably sell separately, to be honest, because it's already got them. But I just want to make sure they work, and no better way to make sure something works than actually having the correct radio. Otherwise, it's guesswork at times. So absolutely. All right, one IC970H. I think this is going to one of my Victorian mates. So I'm not sure that it's going to come up for sale as such. So wrong. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's going into VK2. Geez, I'm going well here. Yeah, blame the heart attack stuff and all the trauma. Yeah, sorry. VK2 mate of mine that is actually chasing something to do exactly what this does. So, hence part of this video is just to give him a rundown of what these radios look like, what they're capable of. We do have, from memory, I think we've got a matching speaker for this one too, so I need to mention that to that friend of mine. Anyway, but look, you know, if it's not for him, it will come up for sale at some stage soon. I already have one of my own, which is pretty much what you're looking at here. So this one is going to be a spare one. So and would you be without a 970H? I don't think you should be, not if you're going to be doing some serious VHF, UHF. I think actually it's probably the best radio that is on the market to do what these radios do. I know I'm going to get a lot of people say, hey, my 9700 does more, and it does it, you know, sort of pretty economically, and I'm going to go, hey, I own one. I don't know, I'd just rather be using my 970H. That's just a personal opinion. Doesn't make me right, doesn't make this one better. Excuse me. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I just love knobs and dials versus menu-driven radios these days. I could be becoming old-fashioned, you never know. 73s, all the best. That's the IC970H Icom. Definitely their flagship VHF, UHF all-mode radio. Cheers all.